All right, let's get right into it. So, you've got a public health exam coming up, and this is your high yield 5-minute cram session on disaster and emergency preparedness. We are going to cover just the essentials you absolutely need to know. So, you're in that final stretch, right? Hitting the books hard. My goal here is super simple. We're going to turn these next few minutes into actual points on your exam. We'll break down the core concepts so they really stick. Let's do this. Here is our game plan. We'll kick things off by defining terms, then we'll jump into the big management framework, cover some practical prep, touch on a key planning model, and wrap it all up with a rapid-fire review. It's everything you need exactly in the order you need it. Okay, first up, a foundational concept that you will definitely see on your test. What is the actual difference between an emergency and a disaster? Listen, they are not interchangeable, and you need to know why. And here it is, the key difference. An emergency, like a car crash, is something a community can handle with its existing resources. But a disaster? Whoa, that completely overwhelms everything they've got. The magic word you need to remember for your exam is capacity. A disaster blows right past a community's capacity. Got it? Good. All right, let's build on that. This next one is huge for exams. It's the emergency management continuum. Seriously, if you only remember one framework from this whole thing, make it this one. It's a cycle, and you know how much exams love to ask about cycles. Now take a look at this. The big thing to notice is that it's a circle, not a straight line. Why does that matter? Because each phase feeds into the next. What you do in the recovery phase directly impacts how you'll mitigate the next event. It's all connected. Let's break down what each of these 4 phases actually means. First up, we have mitigation. This is all about playing the long game. It's the stuff we do way before a disaster even happens to either prevent it or just make it less bad. Things like building floodways to channel water away from a town or making sure building codes are tough enough to withstand an earthquake. It's that classic ounce of prevention phase. Okay, so after mitigation, you've got preparedness. If mitigation is about trying to stop the bad thing from happening, preparedness is about being ready for when it happens anyway. This is where you see things like emergency response plans, or ERPs. It's basically the fire drill stage of the whole cycle. And then, boom, you're in the response phase. This is what most people think of when they hear disaster. It's the action-packed part. Rescuers on the ground, saving lives, meeting immediate needs. And for all you nursing students out there, pay attention. This is where your role is going to be the most visible. We're talking triage, trauma care, all that critical hands-on work. And last but not least, we hit the recovery phase. And let me tell you, this one can take a long time, months, sometimes even years. This is all about getting a community back on its feet. But here's the key. The real goal isn't just getting back to normal. It's about building back better, stronger, and more resilient than before. All right, so we've been talking big picture, right? Community level stuff. Now let's zoom all the way in to individual responsibility. This is a super common topic for exams because it's so practical and applies to everyone. Okay, pop quiz time. Don't look ahead. Just think for a second. If you had to survive on your own for 3 days, 72 hours, what are the absolute essential items you would need? What's in that kit? So how'd you do? Here are the non-negotiables. Number 1 is water. You need at least 2 liters per person per day. Then you've got your non-perishable food, a solid first aid kit, a flashlight with extra batteries, super important, and a battery-powered or crank radio. Why the radio? So you can get official updates when the internet and cell service are down. These items are almost guaranteed to pop up in a multiple-choice question. Okay, let's switch it up now and talk about a more advanced topic, the Program Logic Model, or PLM. Now, I know this can sound a little intimidating or academic, but I promise we're going to break it down into a really simple idea that's super easy to remember for your test. So, what the heck is a logic model anyway? Honestly, it's just a roadmap. It's a way to help you start with your big goal. Let's say you want to make your community healthier, and then you literally work backward to map out every single step you need to take to get there. It's all about logically connecting what you do with the results you want. Just look at how this flows. You start on the left with your inputs. That's your stuff, your resources like money and staff. Those inputs let you create outputs. Those are your activities, the things you actually do. And then those outputs lead to your outcomes, the real changes you hope to see. See? It's just a logical chain of events. And honestly, this is the easiest way to think about it. The whole thing is just a series of if-then statements. If we have this funding, then we can run these workshops. If we run these workshops, then people's knowledge will increase.
It connects the dots. If you remember if, then for logic models, you're golden.
Phew, we've gone through a lot pretty quickly. So now it's time for the lightning round. This is the stuff you absolutely positively have to have locked down before you walk into that exam. Ready? Here we go. Number 1, disasters overwhelm resources, emergencies don't. It's all about capacity. 2, the 4 phases are a cycle: mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery. Know that order. 3, individual preparedness is crucial. Have a plan and a 72-hour kit. And 4, logic models use if-then thinking. Oh, and one last thing, especially for my nursing students, burn this into your brain. The nursing role is most visible in the response phase. It's not the only phase you're involved in, but it's the most public-facing one. That is a classic exam question right there. All right, you are totally prepped for these questions on your exam, but I want to leave you with one last thought to chew on. Beyond just getting a good grade, now that you really understand this entire cycle, how does that change how you see your own role in your community? Not just as a professional, but just as a citizen. Something to think about. Okay, go crush that exam.